well, hang on, if our hormones are changing, how are we changing? And energetically, what does that then mean? But there definitely is a point where women will go, oh, I'm not who I used to be.
100%.
Or is it an integration of life experience and changing hormones, and how life experience then actually have an impact on the changing hormones?
Well, they're interrelated. When people become a mother, their hormones change as well.
Right.
It's not just a pure giving birth experience. Their whole makeup changes, and it's purposeful so that you can bond to your child and all sorts of things, make milk, everything that is there so that the child can survive. And so if you speak to a mother, for example, they're never the same person again. I think hormones in our physiology are a reflection of not just bodily function, but also soul function. You're not able to have a change in soul or experience from that level without also a change in hormone. Someone like Dr. Joe Dispenza, for example, even on his meditation retreats, they're measuring hormone levels. They're measuring cortisol. They're measuring a whole bunch of different things, and the body responds differently to the experience.
I spend more time regulating someone's cortisol than anything else. People come for hormone support. I will actually be working on their cortisol because the cortisol then dictates what everything else does, right? Yeah. And we know hormones are changing, which are messengers to tell our bodies to do certain things. I wonder how much of this trauma and nervous system dysregulation is then actually playing into the hormone dysregulation. It's the same thing, really, at the end of the day.
It has to be. I don't have the exact answer for it, but just like you, I would say majority of the people that I work with are more cortisol-based. And that's not to say cortisol is bad. It's not.
No, we need it to make hormones.
Like my dog's got Addison's disease, for example.
Bless.
So
it was a dog. I mean, of course, but still.
Don't even get me started. The dog was my mum's. She got an autoimmune disease. Then my dog got an autoimmune disease. Yeah, it's insane. They say dogs are a mirror of their
owners.
Yeah, which makes sense. He's on cortisone because otherwise his sodium potassium doesn't work and he can actually get really sick and die. Right. So no hormone is bad. I think a lot of people think like, oh, cortisol, bad. Right, they hear it. It's not bad. It's just we need it at appropriate levels for appropriate situations. And unfortunately, we've created lives now where we're living completely abnormally. Our bodies are just doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're responding to an abnormal environment all the time, which is why they're abnormal. The last few years have really impacted people mentally, and I'm still seeing that a lot. Increasing in eating disorders, increase in social anxiety, increase to the point where kids can't even attend school anymore, and they're starting to actually have centres because kids won't go to school. It's called like school refusal. Again, if you were to look at their hormones and things, there'd be mapping of what's going on. And again, hormones are messengers, not just within the body, but messengers to us as human beings, what's going on with us.
I think also, well, at least my generation and the generation older than us, we were never really taught to deal with emotion. There's a lot of women blaming their symptoms now on perimenopause.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just a phase. It's like blaming your symptoms on puberty. What you're experiencing is an imbalance in a phase of your life where your hormones are more temperamental.
It's also important to note the mentality of women who are going through perimenopause. So it's also a very interesting age where a lot of women leave their husbands.
It's true.
Yeah. A lot of women become single at around the age of perimenopausal. It's also an age where they start to look back on life and what they did or didn't do, what they wish they had done, what they also looking at what options are for them in the future of what they could or could not do. It's different to when you're 20 and looking at your life. Again, those big things like, did they have the right partner? Were they the right mother? Did I do what I want to do with my career? There's a lot of those deep questions that come with that age group as well. And so I think there's just such a lack of information around perimenopause that people just assume it must just be.
There's so many layers to this actually, because we were the generation still being like speak when spoken to and, otherwise don't talk, you don't be heard, you should be sitting down politely.
Very different to this generation.
Very different to this generation.
Sometimes I catch myself because of the way I was brought up, for example.
But that's
going, I never would have been allowed to do that.
Well,
my mum would have told me to be quiet.
My favourite question was, do you want to sit in the car?
And it wasn't actually a question that.
But it's like, yes, please, actually, I would love to.
Yeah, get me out of here.
I grew up in Mildura. Yeah. Sitting in the car would have been like a 55-degree scenario. Of course the answer was no. But if I lived my time again, maybe the answer would have been yes, actually, save me from this
get me
situation.
Out.
But we were very repressed.
Oh, I remember my mum saying, like, I'm going to leave you here if you don't be good. And she stopped the car and she let me out. And she actually drove off.
I think I might have had the same thing happen.
And I remember she told me this sounds terrible, but this was quite normal, just so everyone knows. She told me she was going to put me up for sale if I kept being naughty, like give me away to another family. So she put me at the front of the house with a for sale sign on. Like, she was quite funny, my mum.
But with a for sale sign? She went to the effort of making a for sale sign?
Yes.
Wow.
She was very creative. And a car actually stopped and I never saw my mum shit herself so quickly and run out and grab me. So I'm like, this is all a facade.
Yes,
I understand what's going on here.
Imagine.
But, you know, like someone could look back and think that's quite traumatic. But, you know, having children isn't easy.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not. And it's definitely, things have changed. You're right. I wouldn't say to my children in front of other people, don't speak unless spoken to.
No, it's definitely changed.
And that's changed. And it was just generationally appropriate at the like that. No one was questioning it. I'm not saying that my parents did a bad job.
No.
I mean, look at me. They did amazing.
Look at us. They did a great job. We still don't know how to express ourselves and Nat's arm's sore.
I'm very grateful for the childhood experiences I had. It was just a very different time to be alive. There was a lot of repression. So it's no wonder women of my age and the next generation actually don't understand themselves, are very disconnected from themselves, want to find the answers that we're seeking really blow my mind. Could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? It's sort of like your body's giving you messages.
Yeah.
Lean
Most
into
people
it.
don't even know what that is. They don't look at it as a message. They look at it as something going wrong.
Punishment.
Yeah, punishment. Why is my body doing this to me? And they separate themselves from the physicality.
Yeah.
And we are more than just our physicality, but the physicality is an expression of more